Pick a card. How does your light affect your lineage? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do another pick a card for you. For those of you new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. And for those of you that are indeed repeat offenders, thank you so much for sticking by me. Today we're going to be looking at how does your light affect your lineage. I had a completely different title picked out and a completely different video for this. And at the last minute, Spirit complicates it. I'm like, nope, I can't do anything easy, so you're welcome. We're definitely going to be looking at this because that's the one that's set in my stomach the most. I follow my intuition, my gut. So here we go. Pile number 1. This is going to be your stone. Very smooth and even, almost pyramid shape. That even looks like the light coming through. Pile number 2. That's kind of cool. You are going to be this stone. And pile number 3. So we're going to be looking at what is your brand of light and how is this changing your lineage? How does it affect people? And what blessings are about to be revealed to you specifically? I want to take a moment also to thank Tim at Photo One Prod Production for the Aurora Borealis video that he allowed me to share with you guys. He's a patient of ours and was able to share this fantastic video. And of course, I had to ask, are you a professional photographer? To which he said yes, and he is. So you might want to go check out his other work, but I just really appreciate Tim allowing us to utilize this video because he didn't have to. More than generous. I was so excited. To me, that was like a sign. Especially when he came back the next day and said, oh, by the way, did I share this with you like randomly? He gave it to me after it was stuck in my brain because, you know, I'm a bit obsessive. All right, guys. So choose your pile, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you missed the intro, my name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. How does your light affect your lineage? And you chose this beautiful stone, and I think it's very clear. You have a lot of light. I also feel like perhaps you're getting downloads from Spirit. Maybe you get energized also from the sun, responsibly, of course. I want to take a moment to thank Tim at Photo One Prod Productions. He is the one who shot this video, time-lapsed video, the Aurora Borealis, which I probably mispronounced. But I thought it was very kind of him to let us use it. So shout out to him. Pile number 1, you chose manifestation. What you desire is on its way. How does your light affect your lineage? We are about to see. Friends, don't forget to enter the June drawing. I'm going to put that up today, by the way. June drawing, it's going to be a chance to win a 30-minute reading with yours truly. You must be a subscriber, and if you can type in I am the change, I'll announce it at the very last day of this month. Yep, look. The Sorcerer, ambition, willpower, creation. Well, that's not entirely a surprise. I mean, look at the type of cards we're getting. Let's see how we can prop this baby up. How can we do this? Maybe. So if you see, I feel like you ground and you bring to light what it is that people want, even in their subconscious. Sometimes I feel like we're afraid to dream or think things through because it's like, well, that's too lofty of an idea for me. Or I've always been in this pay bracket, this tax bracket, and I'll never, you know, be able to overcome my upbringing, or I'll never be able to overcome my life choices, whatever it is that we think. Or that's simply not the life for me. I always have to work harder, not smarter, in order to really make ends meet. I mean, I don't know what your tapes are, but I do feel like pile number one, you have probably undergone a lot of like therapy sessions. You maybe even done EMDR, maybe you've done tapping, you've looked into self-help, you've been intrigued by anything that can potentially move that energy through you and process it so that you are not stuck feeling it 24/7, and maybe that you can even perhaps transmute it. I feel like you are a creator. You could be a content creator. You could be a creative. You could be somebody who really enjoys dance, movement. You could get in your body really quite easily. You are somebody who gets your strength through getting grounded. So if that's not you, if you tend to be a little bit mind over matter, that was probably not the right example, but if you tend to be in your head a little bit more, then getting grounded, right? Because I always feel like I'm present from the nose up, meaning, you know, my third eye chakra and my crown chakra always pop in, but to get in my body is very challenging. So this is your, not red flag, but this is your sign to get more in your body, to get more grounded. And it could be as simple as leaning up against a tree, taking your shoes off, getting in grass, earthing, walking barefoot outside. That kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies unless it's grass, because I hate dirty feet, but keeping it moving. Pile number one, ambition, willpower, and creation. I feel like you are an incredible light to people around you, and especially your family lineage, even those that have not come yet, okay? And I feel like you've broken the mold. I feel like you're like, ta-da, I've broken the mold. Look at this. Look at what I can create. And you might be in the midst of that. You might be in the middle of, I don't even know what I'm creating, but I am creating. I'm breaking the mold. And maybe perhaps your family lineage has been stuck in some kind of a pattern. I heard doldrums. So it could be, right? It could be that perhaps, because we all know that, you know, depression tends to run in families and things like that. Maybe perhaps you are breaking out of that cycle and showing people that there is a light, there is a hope. I feel like you're deeply in touch with your intuition, and that is going to make an incredible impact on your family lineage, because whereas most people, and myself included, before I just had to succumb to spirit and say, cry uncle, go ahead and whatever I need to do, I guess I have to do it. Okay, yes, I was a very reluctant vessel. And sometimes, just to be honest and transparent, still am. But I'm going to say that you are somebody who has followed your intuition, your gut instinct, in spite of what everybody else has said. I feel like part of this also in you has been cloaked, has been shielded, has been guarded. And the reason why is because it didn't need to be brought to the attention of other people, because their energy, their ideas, or their, oh, nay, that's not how things work, can really serve to take you off of your path. So I feel like that has all been really shielded, hidden, and protected by spirit. But now I feel like people are starting to see that you are indeed, I heard becoming your manifestation, which I'm not entirely sure because you chose a manifestation card. And by the way, these 3 cards I selected, I pre-selected. I didn't go through the deck. I just like shuffled and I picked the first top 3 cards. And I was hoping Spirit would give me inspiration. And indeed, Spirit did. So I feel like whatever it is that you're currently creating in your life, whatever change, I feel like even resurrecting something that has been long ago dead, something that maybe perhaps in your family lineage has been gone. Look at that glowing. Look at that glowing. I feel like, yeah, it's very much like this energy. I feel like whatever it is that you're glowing, whatever you put your hand to, has a very warm glow, has the ability to transform other people around, has the ability to lend hope. And that's the thing. I feel like sometimes when people come from a hopeless situation, and I haven't talked about this part of things, and, you know, I'm trying not to be controversial, but here we go. Let me rewind. This earth is definitely a prison earth, okay? If you haven't heard that term before, you might want to look it up, but it is definitely a prison earth, and I feel like you're breaking that cycle. I feel like you're coming out of things and you're showing people there is a definite and different way to do things. And I think that with the naked eye, it's been very difficult for other people. You may have heard your whole life, like, you just need to be practical. You just need to roll up your sleeve. You need to, you know, maybe perhaps you were seen as a dreamer. That's interesting how it only works like this. It only works. Anyways, moving on. But you are able to really bring like clarity and wisdom and inspiration to other people around you. And I feel like that's how you're affecting your family lineage, your lineage, period. This is people that are currently alive. I feel like you are being, I heard entertained. So perhaps you are an entertainer and you are entertaining, or perhaps you are somebody who is a manifester. Because when I think of the sorcerer, that's definitely a manifestor energy. To me, that is magician. Okay, that is magician energy. And I think that you are breaking down all barriers of the naysayers of, yeah, that can't be done. That's not how things are done. And you're like, oh, it is. But it is. How is it? Well, because I believe in it and I pursue it and I try different things, and I'm willing not to allow what this world has shown me to be the only thing that is available, because I feel like pile number one, you realize that you also are a great creator. And when you lean upon the light, on spirit, on God, on source, whatever it is that you're believing in, I feel like this becomes very apparent to you. What else do we have for pile number one? How does your light affect your lineage? You affect by being inspiring. Illusions, uncertainty, and narcissism. So I feel like you affect people by going against the illusion, against the uncertainty, and against the narcissism. I think that you might have more of a communal thinking, right? Versus, let's see if we can get a better angle here. Versus the I, me, it's more of a we mentality. And I'm not saying it's at all groupthink. It's more of a, let's break the mold and see what is real beyond illusion. I feel like you are somebody who questions everything, because perhaps you've discovered a little bit of magic, or things have fallen into your lap. And now, if you want like tangibles, I will say, for example, the apartment that I'm living in, I really, it's my friend's. And I really admired it. I loved it. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. But I never, in the land of evers, would I think that I'd be living here. And it just happened like 9 months after I moved to this area. It was offered to me just out of the blue. And I feel like that was a direct manifestation. That was not something that I had intent. I never vocalized everything. And so I feel like you could be inspiring people in the same way. I also feel like you are inspiring people through your hard work, diligence, and progress, that you have overcome great adversity, many challenges that have been set in your way. And with the roses blooming here that are blue, I want to say that part of those challenges were your inability or your unwillingness to utilize your voice. Now, I'm going to say that people say it's, you know, think it's so easy to really speak your truth and things like that. And unless you really have been literally within somebody's skin, I'm like, okay, get your brain in the gutter. You do not know people's journey. So let's not be so judgmental. It is not quite as easy for some of us to speak our truth. I have a very difficult time articulating, speaking my truth, and mostly because I'm a quiet person. I tend to just keep everything in my brain. So bringing it forth and sharing with people such as yourself, hopefully, right? has been a challenge, but I feel like for you, if you have difficulty speaking, sharing what it is that you've overcome, how you've overcome, I feel like that is ending. I feel like all the things, 9, 10, 11. So you could be seeing a lot of 1111s. You could be seeing a lot of master numbers in general, like the, 22s and numbers like that. But I feel like, and we're getting a lot of howling here. Yeah, so these wolves appear angry, okay? And these just appear almost like running on instinct. So these appear like more, I feel like your adversaries and people that have like stood against you and your hardships have been one that were in your, like in your lineage, in your DNA, if you will. It was repetition and things like that. And the fact that you have broken through that, instead of like receiving, hey, good job, like you kind of overcame this and whatever, I feel like people are angry because you broke the mold. And it's a very painful mold. And it's a very imprisoning mode and outmoded mold. That was like a tongue twister. Pile number 1. Good job in speaking your truth. Good job in harnessing your power, in dreaming, and allowing spirit to bring through the light that is really within you. One moment, please. I just had a jumper, so I have to share with you. I have the 4 of Hearts. Now, I feel like, once again, you could have people around that are not thrilled with this. And I feel like eventually they will get over it. I feel like it's been a shock to people's systems. I feel like you, indeed, are a shock to all of your adversaries because they just thought, well, I mean, we complied, we toe the line, we do this. Why is that not good enough for you, kind of a thing? And I feel like perhaps this has been misconstrued. It's been taken wrong, basically, by people around you because they think that maybe you're arrogant or, uppity or like, that's what I'm getting is like bougie vibes. Oh, you're too good at us. You're not, you're too good for us, that kind of a thing. When in fact, you're here to break generational curses and on a huge mission. So I'm going to say continue doing you. They will eventually kind of figure it out or they won't, but you're here to affect the masses, including people around you. And I feel like you can actually affect other people's lineage, even though we are here for your own. Now, the blood moon, I feel like you're here to really wake people up to the fact that it's okay to follow the pack until it's not. It's okay to follow the pack until you realize that you're following an illusion and eventually uncover many illusions. And it can make us feel uncertain, right? Maybe insecure or less sure-footed, if you will, following your own path. But I'm here to tell you that that is your mission. I feel like anybody who's drawn to my channel whatsoever is here to make changes of their own. And it starts out small. And I feel like your brand of magic, you just sprinkle fairy dust everywhere in a very unusual way by popping illusions, by creating this idea in people. And maybe initially they want to combat you with the angry wolves, right? They want to combat you and say, well, what is this that you speak of? That is not true. This is not a prison planet. I'm like, good. Well, at least you'll think about it. Maybe you'll look it up. Maybe this will be something that kind of, it's a kernel that'll grow 5 years from now. I don't know. And also not my responsibility, but how this is affecting your lineage is, I feel like you are a source of inspiration and a bright light for people in the years to come, okay? Yeah, look. I feel like this is a return. It's a return to yourself. It's a return to your lineage. Originally, when your ancestors were on this plane, I feel like they were incredibly psychic. They were in tune. I feel like they were very giving, very maternal. They have to be females, okay? But just very nurturing initially. And I feel like because of dogma, because of illusion, because of propaganda, media, whatever you want to call it, and things that have been handed down, because we only know, we can only teach what we know. And a lot of us teach by examples. We don't consider ourselves teachers, right? Not initially, or maybe not typically, but I'm going to say that you are here to break through groupthink or to improve it, to polish it, to bust it open, to allow the light to shine through the cracks and have people question and wonder and maybe waffle a little bit in their certainty that maybe this is how it's always been done, because I feel like there's a lot of illusion that you are breaking through. Now, pile number one, you could be someone who typically chooses my pile number threes, because those are typically teachers and healers and caretakers and people that are unconventional, okay? And maybe perhaps you just started choosing a different number, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I feel like you are here to shake it up, and it's been a very long journey for you. So encouragement from your guides, encouragement from the other side, please, for pile number one. If you're liking this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out my community tab. I should have the June drawing, and that is for a chance to win a 30-minute reading with yours truly. You must be subscribed. If you can type in "I am the change," I'll enter you, and I will draw it on the very last day. What's up? Pile number one, self-love, nature, spirit. So this is about grounding. So you have grounding right here, becoming steadfast. You could be a bone collector, by the way, or fascinated by bones. I definitely am. But self-love, I feel like a lot of things are growing. The more that you learn to love yourself and embrace the light within. And I feel like your light within is actually blooming. Everything that perhaps you kept repressed or kept quiet about, or you thought you were going to enjoy kind of by yourself. You're like, well, I think this, but I don't have to share it with other people. Honestly, pile number one, that's what I thought and that's how I felt. But that is just not what we're here to do. Sometimes we're here to shake things up, whether we like it or not. And I feel like all those things, all those flowers, all those blooms, all those vines are actually coming forth from you in order to really serve to inspire others, to be a light, yes, similar to the Northern Lights on this video. But also, I feel like in order to help other people to see that there is a different way, that change is coming, and that you are the change, you are the light, and that you can make things grow, and it could be so very different than what your lineage has experienced thus far. And even for people currently in a 3D, it's not too late to change your trajectory and make about valuable impact on the world. Okay, so that is what I have for you. Please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, Pal 2. My name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. I did take a little break between pile 1 and 2, so you might notice things a little bit different. But pile number 2, I'm going to say this is what you chose. Now, a little disclaimer right here. I did have to put some YouTube clothing on her because, you know, the YouTube gods frown upon a little chesticle action going on there. So I had to make her a little bit more formal, more dressed, more presentable, if you will. Pile number 2, how does your light affect your lineage? And you chose listen, silence your mind, and pay attention. And this is a stone that came with your options here. Beautiful stone. It gives me some carnelian vibes. Look at that. It almost looks to me like a female holding a whole world in her hand. Actually, I'm literally hearing that song. You got the whole world in your hand. Now, I'm going to say, initially when I started looking at this card in relationship to your reading, how does your light affect your lineage in particular? I was thinking about how you inspire other people around you to listen, to stop, look, listen, right? But how you have a connection to the other side and how everyone does. And I feel like you've inspired that thought, that action. And if you haven't seen that yet, you will. Pile number 2, the first card that was actually already flipped, and I saw it, so we have to take it, is Stoicism. The number 19. We have peacefulness, receptiveness, and manifestation. I wonder if this would just do what it... No, no, we're not going to do what we need to, right? No, maybe. So we have stoicism. Show me what I need to see for pile number 2. And for those of you new to my channel, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. For those of you that are indeed repeat offenders, thank you so much for putting up with my shenanigans. Pile number 2. How does your light affect your lineage? Inner work, deep connections, and soul tribe. Beautiful. Let's see if we can move this baby a little bit. So first of all, I'm going to say that pile number 2, you're probably the pile that inspires a lot of change in other people. I feel like you, again, encourage people to slow down, smell the roses kind of a thing. But most importantly, I feel like you encourage people to get to their roots. Now, I don't know about you, but currently I have a fascination. I'm not going to call it obsession because I have enough of that in my life. But I have a fascination with the root system of any trees. When I'm looking around, if there is a tree that's overturned or kind of uprooted or fallen, whatever you want to call it, or simply growing in a weird way as nature does, I'm fascinated by how intricate those tree trunks are and how much they travel from one place to the other to get the nutrients that they need. But it always reminds me of it being fed and nourished by your ancestors, your ancestry line. And indeed, we're talking about your lineage, which leads us right down the same path. I feel like for you, pile number 2, here's Coco making itself known. I feel like you not only have a deep connection to the other side, but you've done a lot of inner work, a lot of deep connection. And I feel like soul tribe is important to you. I feel like you've discovered the importance of community rather than individuality. And I'm not saying, again, that being an individual is not important. But I feel like being an individual winds up, I don't want to say by sheer nature, but sometimes it could be more like thinking, thank you, Coco, what is right versus, or who is right versus what is right. And I think that you encourage community thinking. You encourage what's good for everyone. You encourage thinking of, even with the stoicism, I feel like you're willing to kind of sacrifice some things and even about yourself and even sacrifice yourself for the betterment of all. I just looked at the clock and it's 5:08 on my timer. And Coco is extremely active. He's been quiet since I got home. So I feel like that's simply confirmation. I feel like you are the bridgeway, almost a segue. She is definitely listening to the other side. I feel like you have an ability to see things very much like the Northern Lights that we were blessed with the ability to see recently. And that leads me just to want to say thank you for Tim at Photo One Prod Productions for the beautiful pictures of the Aurora Borealis that we were able to share on this channel. So if you get a chance to check out his work, please do. I'm very appreciative. Now, pile number 2, I feel like with the 8 of diamonds right here, that represents pentacles. I feel like you've been hard at work, just really maintaining your peacefulness. And sometimes to have peace, it does take a lot of work. Now, I'm by no means a master gardener or anybody who does gardening on any regular basis, let's just say, but I do help occasionally. And I'm going to say that one thing that I've noticed is that once you remove all the debris and all the excess and all the fallen leaves and all the things that don't need to be around your plants and stuff, things are so much more peaceful. And I feel like that's a lot of hard work that you have willingly engaged on, especially I correlate that with the number 19. It reduces to a 10, which goes down to a 1, of course. And I feel like people have been able to see you go through a lot of cycles and completions and finish cycles. And I'm going to say signed, sealed, and delivered. They've seen your hard work. I feel like you too have been spirit led. I feel like you could be very much clairaudient. And I think that you encourage that in other people as well, just by the way you live. I don't think that you stand up on any stone or soapbox and publicly announce it. Pile number 2, with the Jack of Diamonds right here. This is a pentacle energy. It's a very slow process. And maybe perhaps it's been a slow process for you to embrace everything and to be transparent. Perhaps you are someone who was spiritually in the closet. And now you have come out and people know exactly what you think and how you feel. And I do feel like you have a lot of admirers for your level of transparency, but also the hard work, the dedication, and the desire to even just take it one step at a time. And here you still are, taking it one step at a time to see how far you can go. And that, I think, that is massively transform your family lineage, by the way. And what I'm being led to see in my mind's eye right now, pile number 2 is actually a spider's web, but not necessarily with the notion of things getting trapped in a web. I feel more like a connectivity, like those little strings. Spider web vibrates, right? And allows the spider to know like where and how far, and all sorts of communication going on that is by far more complex that I'm able to really describe here. But I think that you get the gist, pile number 2. And I feel like you are someone who has been able to really communicate with that spirit knowledge and that wisdom simply by being stoic, by connecting to the other side yourself, by your diligence, your hard work. I feel like your day-to-day really conveys that you are in touch with the other side, with spirit, with your family lineage, and you are ascending to higher ground simply because you want to do what is best for the community, your lineage, the greater good, that kind of a thing. And you're not necessarily super invested in what promotes you as much as what is good for the masses. You could be our quintessential humanitarian. You could be the voice of the voiceless and things like that. So we have the 2 of Cups right here. I feel like you connect deeply on a one-to-one level with people. And when people see that characteristic about you, when they spend time with you, they're able to see the inner work that you've done, how hard you worked, how much labor, and how much things that you have really endured. And the inner work, I feel like it includes shadow work. Absolutely. The way that you have really affected your family lineage, I feel like, is you've opened up a whole new world for them. And I'm hearing a whole new world. I ain't trying to sing that because I don't know the words and I can't carry a tune per se either. But listen, pile number 2. We have the 7 of Pentacles right here. I feel like you encourage your lineage, your family, the people that are around you, friends, family, whatever, to really take stock, take heed, take a look, take a full inventory of their lives. And you help them to really, by example, really take inventory and decide, is this a good way to go? Do I need to overturn this inventory? Do I need to restock it? Do I need to change things up? Am I headed the right direction? Am I getting a reward for effort? Is it really worth it? And I think that that's super important because I feel like in your family lineage, if you look closely enough and from a neutral point of view, you could see where a lot of people have been just really selfish, all about, and I mean, just to be real, we've had a lot of like boss culture, I mean, how are you bossing up? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And I feel like you've taken that quite out of it, and you have made yourself very transparent in how you think. And you've suffered a lot of losses, a lot of judgment, a lot of heartache and headache simply because you are different. I will say that. But in spite of putting yourself out there and maybe having people not understand, I feel like people are starting to come around full circle. Maybe even once upon a time, people that spoke negatively of you. Yeah. Look, this is the Queen of Spades, Queen of Swords. She's very, very keen, very sharp, very knowledgeable, and not afraid to tell you exactly how it is. And I feel like you've come full circle and people have been able to see your transformation. Maybe perhaps from someone who really worked well in the dark, meaning you worked on your shadow work, you did a lot of therapy, you worked on your interpersonal relationships, you worked on yourself, and you really tried to grow through a lot of things on a personal level. And that led you to really listen to spirit and things like that. And I feel like your communication style is really sharp It is clear. It is concise. You don't mince with words. And also, pile number 2, you don't suffer no fools. And I feel like how this is affecting your family lineage is that you've been able to give them clarity. You've been able to bring them back around to what is important, what is healthy for the tribe, for the group, for the family, for the generations to come, right? And it's not just about instant gratification and pleasure. It's about stopping and smelling the roses. And it's also about appreciating everything for exactly who and what they are without the desire of wanting them to change for you to make you more comfortable. And this is the Ace of Spades again. Okay, so we have the swords present here, a lot of intellectualism. And I feel like because of that, you've taken a route that's completely different. I feel like a lot of your guys in your family lineage, a lot of like smart people, astute, but a lot of like, I'm feeling a lot of debauchery, a lot of selfishness and wanting just to do things in excess for any reason, getting lost in the sauce in that way. And I feel like people in your immediate like family line, maybe the past 2 generations, didn't really make a lot of headway insofar as trying to advance things for everyone else or paving the way or really helping them to lift and get a leg up on things. Okay, so I feel like the thinking was very close-minded. It's how do I get out of here? How do I have a better life, a simple life? Those things within itself are not bad, but I do feel like they did it at the expense of everyone else and without thought of anyone else as well. And it didn't lead to any deep thought and let me kind of smooth things over, do any inner work and any soul tribe, and let me consider what is the greater good for the community. It's just what is the greater good for myself. And I personally, you know, I don't have a lot of judgment there. I just feel like I've done the same thing with basically falling prey to being a workaholic, and I still have to break those tendencies. Okay, I was in denial for like ever, and I just tend to overwork. Everything I do is in excess, so I have a problem with moderation right there. Pile number 2, I am not judgmental, and I hope that comes across in a proper way. Anyways, moving on. I feel like you're making a big impact on your ancestry, on your line, on your lineage. And I think that people now are finally starting to come around and understand it. Perhaps you were ostracized or persecuted or considered the black sheep of the family. Yes, pile number 2. I heard truth seeker in my head. And now we have growth teacher guide. So I feel like, yeah, you've been in constant communication with your guides. And I feel like now is the time to reap the rewards of that. You've done a heck of a lot of hard work. Like how I said a heck of a lot and not the H-E-L-L, right? But anyways, I'm going to say that you are getting your own downloads, your own light codes. I feel like you could be into like sun gazing and really connecting with Mother Nature. But regardless of what you're doing, I feel like it is on a path of self-growth. Now, maybe perhaps you could be also partaking in smoke, like the devil's lettuce, or I don't know what, but whatever it is, I feel like you're definitely connecting to the divine as well. I feel like you have no problem with a desire to want to grow, and you might be a perpetual learner, perpetual student, and I think that that's super healthy because you set a new template for your lineage insofar as like they're not simply accepting their fate or their roles anymore or what's been traditionally handed down or what they've seen. Like, for example, when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, I really felt, and I saw what I saw, was that you are going to be a nun or a nurse. And in my mind, I never thought teacher, but obviously there were many different professions. But in my child brain, I could be a nun or a nurse. And I'm like, I don't want to be a nurse. I'm not into blood and stuff like that. I really wanted to be a nun. Hey, this is a secret between you and I. I've never told that many people or anybody. I don't know. But I'm going to say pile number 2, that you have inspired people to go outside that box, to be able to see sometimes what is right in front of them. And for that, yeah, you are helping people to kick the habit. Her legs even look like a turned on candle right here, oddly enough. But you're helping your lineage kick it up a notch, okay, in their goals and in their personal growth. And I feel like what you're starting to see evolve, like this new generation, and even generations that came before you are starting to come around and starting to understand that, yeah, even us that are older, we can learn, we can change, and we can grow, and we can start pursuing dreams. And it's like, I feel like this says start at the beginning. Wherever it is, meet yourself there and start right there. There's no point in comparing where it is that you're headed, like a destination, if you're not enjoying the journey within itself. You could be drawn to a lot of yellow. You could be seeing yellow. Your auric field currently could be yellow based. And that's actually pretty cool because that indicates a lot of solar plexus energy. So that is what I have. Pile number 2. If you're liking this kind of reading, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification. Also take an extra step and double check your notification, because for all of your favorite, you know, the subscriptions that you've done in the past, they're actually probably all turned off because YouTube did a hard set. So turn those subscriptions on, not just for my channel, obviously, but for all of your faves. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a challenge to be able to see the stuff that you'd like to see. And I am going to be putting up a June drawing for a chance to win a 30-minute reading with yours truly. So you must be subscribed, but go ahead and type into community post, I am the change. So that's what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Pile number 2, namaste. Hi, pile number 3. My name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. I'm going to go ahead and get some additional good juju in here by ringing the bell, and 3, 2, 1. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for your subscriptions, and thank you for the new subscribers. For those of you that are repeat offenders, you know y'all are my people. Thank you so much for your support. Pile number 3. How does your light affect your lineage? How does your light affect your lineage? You chose set intentions, plant the seeds, and watch them grow. Check it out. This is the stone that you chose. Is she not pretty? Isn't she lovely? Sorry. Look at that. Incredibly beautiful. Okay. So I feel like there are many, many layers to you. The same way that you look at the ground, and the same way that you can notice the sediments or whatever these are right here. I feel like people can notice layers in you, and that's becoming very apparent finally. I think it's been a while. Perhaps you yourself have been a seedling in this massive change, and how you've been affecting your lineage with your particular light. Yeah. I feel like you're a connection of pile number 2. So, bottom of the deck is the Serpent with rebirth, unconventionality, and nonconformity. Pile number 3. Are you a rebel? Are you a rebel with a cause? Do people try to make you bite your tongue? Is it difficult for you to be around people and not speak your truth? Apprentice with the number 4. Higher education, beliefs, and wisdom. Yeah. I feel like you guys are also like the Pentacle suit. I think of all the court cards that are pentacles are very slow moving, very steady, steadfast, very measured, very deliberate. You don't do haste and you don't do waste. That's for sure. Everything is measured. I feel like the way you speak is measured. I feel like you are very tempered, but I feel fire in you as well. So I feel like how your light affects your lineage is that you have verbalized intentions in the past, and they have manifested. I feel like people maybe perhaps doubted you, thought you were kind of a little cuckoo or a little ungrounded. I'm even seeing, actually, as I look out into the trees right now, I'm looking at the face of a little baby. So that would make sense. And it's kind of like weird because the baby has a big old head and these little tiny limbs, which is interesting. But I feel like You've been manifesting for a long time. I think that you've been working on things for a long time as well, in the dark and secret and unbeknownst to you even. The same way that a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't go into like being a massive snake. All of a sudden, it goes through phases just like everything else in life does. With the number 32 reduced into number 5, you have witnessed and undergone a lot of changes, a lot of growth, and your intentions have really helped that trajectory. Look, 4, 5, 6, that would be the next step. I feel like you are listening to your teachers, your guides. I feel like you are finding, finally, your solar plexus, your reason for being, your motivation, your reason for basically getting up. Look, stop. Stop it, don't stop. Pile number 3, work. With the number 20, reducing to a 2. I feel like this is about your personal power. This is about seeing that each time you plant things, it is up to, I want to say, the heavens, the gods, the spirit, whatever it is that you want to believe. You know, it's like one man waters, one man plants, one man toils the ground. Horribly paraphrased, but I'm thinking you're getting the point, right? And I feel like you've done a lot of work, but also I feel like you could be asking for help from your guides. I feel like you could be someone such as myself that you tend to just do things and it's like, well, it gets done when it gets done, and I'm plucking away at it and I'm doing the most I can. But you also don't ask for help, and I resemble that remark. I feel like it's taken a long time for you to see any fruit to what you've been working on. I feel like people also could have been really, really judgy with you, perhaps your entire life. Now, I'm going to throw myself out there once again, but I know for a fact a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that Chriselle, she's so cringe, and I really don't care. I really don't care. And I feel like you could mortify or have mortified in the past a lot of people, and maybe a lot of people that were horrified to stand out. They want to just kind of fly under the radar. They want to match the energy, yeah, and remain under restriction, under restrictive laws. Maybe perhaps they just wanted this whitewashed pathway for them to stay under the laws of the land of like how things have been, a status quo, if you will. And I feel like however your family has done things, people kind of have been wanting to do that, not out of a desire to do that, as in pile 2, where they kind of, I felt like they're a little bit more pleasure seekers. But with you, I feel like your family lineage has been a little bit more out of fear of conformity. I want to fit in. I don't want to be noticed. I kind of want to do things the right way. What's the right way? Well, I've been told this is the right way. I mean, how is it not the right way? Look, it's like overthinking. So I feel like the way that you are really calming things down and flipping things around is simply by your example. I think that what you are speaking, you're like spitting facts, basically. And that is being celebrated first by your ancestry, your ancestors, but also I feel like it's being celebrated by people on this earth in the 3D as well. 7, 8, 9, 10. We just witnessed counting on my fingers. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So this is a new beginning as well. And I feel like you're going to start seeing a lot more like reaping rewards for what you have previously sown. I think that things could be just now this year starting to really manifest, and you're going to start seeing small things, but every tree began as a little seedling, and you know, through time, energy, effort, or perhaps just like a wild quote randomness, it just grew into what it is today. And I feel like that's how things are going to work for you. I think that you are reinstilling a faith, a belief system, a way of looking at things into your family lineage. And your light is radiant simply because, I mean, nowadays especially, who, you know, is out there like plowing the fields and setting seedlings in there and watching things grow. And I feel like you've been very intentional, very deliberate, and maybe perhaps you didn't have a cohesive picture, a cohesive idea of what it is that you were doing. But I feel like in each heart that you walked by, or each doorway that you stepped through, you were dropping little seeds of hope, of vision, of, you know, encouragement for other people to be able to do what it is that you're doing. And I feel also that you did it a lot based on faith. You didn't have a lot of evidence. And I know that nowadays, especially, we're like, well, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Where are the studies? And I'm like, it gets so exhausting, and it also kind of amuses me because a lot of studies are paid. I mean, they're paid by people that have a vested interest. It's called marketing, to be able to get those products out into the public. And I feel like most of what we see out there is pretty much not only propaganda, but a lot of it is commercialism, yes, but a lot of it is, I said marketing. Well, I think you're getting the point. I got lost in the sauce right here. But I'm going to say that you didn't have a lot of evidence. And I feel like that evidence is starting to pull forth. I feel like perhaps people even kind of like looked at you like, oh, she's kind of out there. She's kind of crazy. She, whatever. And I know for a fact that I'm that person that people have talked about for years about being off the beaten path or being different or being weird. And I really, frankly, don't care. But I also see that this has inspired hope and rejuvenation and given a new identity, maybe perhaps, into the lineage. And I feel like people are starting to really come full circle and understand that these ideas, as far removed as we have gotten, was pretty much because it was deemed not acceptable, and I feel like we're just programmed that way. So I feel like we're coming full circle back to nature, back to what's natural specifically for you and your family lineage. And this includes things like manifestation. This includes herbalism and getting treatments, naturopathic medicine. This includes acupuncture, acupressure, anything that has to do with nature and nature's true medicine, right? Before it was hijacked. Look at my cards. They are all messed up with all wildness. I don't know what's going on here. So perhaps pile number 3, you're my pile that not only people have spoken a lot and misspoken a lot, but I feel like you didn't have any support. You basically had to go on faith. And I feel like people could have gossiped a lot about you being mixed up. I just saw a beautiful bird. It's a little baby crow, I think. It was so pretty. Anyways, distraction. But I feel like people are starting to see your level of gentleness, your stability, how things are unwavering and unchanging. And while people around you in your lineage, in your family history, have chased after things, maybe it was fame, maybe it was fortune, maybe it was clout, maybe it was to have a great husband, great wife, the great house, the great whatever. I feel like they have been able to come full circle and see that in the end, it has to do with bonds that are true, that are balanced, powers that are balanced as well, and just a contentment of it being in the moment. And I feel like very much almost like Diana with that bow and arrow, ready to launch it at the target. I feel like that is you, with precision that nobody would ever have dreamt you would have. And indeed, I feel like you, pile number 3, are surprised by that yourself. I feel like you highly underestimate yourself simply because other people underestimated you. But something kept you going on this path. And I heard have no shame. Have no shame. But also be inspired, because I feel like people around you are breaking that mold because you set the course for that, and you did that, and you broke the mold, and you are the example that people look to once they stop thinking with their ego, with their shame and their what does it look like, and what do I look like, and all of those things. I feel like you broke that template. Yeah. I feel like you make people feel very much close together. Again, you could have relation to another pile in this reading, but your inner work, deep soul connections, and your soul tribe. So I feel like you've taught people also that like being close to people, being close to the wrong people could really damage your lineage. And this includes, and I know y'all are going to get all ticked off possibly at me, but listen, when we're having sex with people who aren't committed to us or are just out for a little fun, quote unquote, or whatever, you're making a physical agreement to take on part of their generational issues. Okay. So if you're experiencing like highs and lows and things like that, I feel like that gives us more to work through. And I'm not saying I'm a saint at all, but I am saying that you want to be really cautious if you're at all spiritual with your body, who you share it with, and even who you spend time around and who you surround yourself with. because all of these things are going to have merit on whether you have the energy, the wherewithal, and the gumption to be able to do what you've got to do, or if it's going to pull you down, if you feel a sense of mockery or detachment or people rolling your eyes when you're around. And I have felt all of those things. I've had people, you know, verbalize one thing and go behind my back and say something completely different, and it just happens. So I feel like the master number 11, you could be seeing 11 or 1111. That could be important to you. Wolves can be important to you. You could have the reputation for being a lone wolf, but I feel like you have been the lone wolf in order for you to make a pack, okay? You are bringing the pack back together. You have been looking out for each and every member in your lineage, and I feel like that is going to be quite evident. I feel like you speak on things. I don't know if that comes in clear with the moon right here. It's very faint. I've never noticed it before with this card. And it did come out in another pile during this read specifically. But I feel like you are so in tune with the other side, with your intuition, that it's been leading you to do that very thing. That perhaps it's almost like this wolf, pile number 3, you took off and you did your own thing. But in the end, it was to bring everyone back into the pack, into having a pack and having it be stronger, more balanced, more collected, and more productive than ever before, whatever that looks like, and more protected as well. Yeah, for sure. So that is what I have for you guys. Do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out the community tab where you can enter for a chance to win. Enter the drawing for a chance to win a 30-minute reading with yours truly. Just go to community tab and look for the particular post for June's drawing and type in "I am the change." So I'll enter you at the very end, on the last day of June. I'll enter all the names into this generator. It will pull one winner, and I will post the lucky winner on that community post. If you won May's reading, please do reach out to me, because I'm still waiting to schedule your appointment for your reading. But thank you guys so much. Much love to you, and until next time, namaste.